When we peer beyond the veil of ordinary existence, a pattern emerges that few have recognized yet influences every aspect of our lives. The hidden architecture of reality operates according to principles that have been obscured from general knowledge, kept within the circles of those who understood their profound implications. Beneath the surface of random events and seemingly chaotic circumstances lies an intelligent design, a code that responds to our deepest thoughts and intentions with remarkable precision. Many dismiss such notions as mere fantasy or wishful thinking, yet throughout history, certain individuals have demonstrated an uncanny ability to shape circumstances in alignment with their will, not through external force, but through understanding this hidden framework of creation. These pioneers of consciousness discovered what many of us suspect but rarely articulate, that we are not helpless spectators in a predetermined play but conscious co-creators in a responsive universe. Imagine for a moment that your thoughts possess a tangible frequency, a vibrational signature that resonates through the fabric of existence like ripples across a pond. The ancient traditions from diverse cultures worldwide consistently point to this fundamental truth, that consciousness itself is the primary creative force in the universe, not a mere byproduct of physical processes as modern materialism would suggest. Every thought we think, every emotion we feel, every belief we hold creates vibrations that extend far beyond the boundaries of our physical form, interacting with the unified field that connects all things. Quantum physics, once the rebel science that challenged Newtonian certainties, now provides compelling evidence for what mystics have claimed for millennia, that observation affects reality, that the universe is more like a vast interconnected web of information than a collection of separate objects. This revolutionary understanding shatters the illusion of separation that has dominated Western thinking and opens doorways to possibilities once deemed impossible. Despite these profound implications, the full scope of this knowledge has remained largely concealed from public awareness, relegated to esoteric circles, or diluted into oversimplified manifestation techniques that miss the depth of the underlying principles. Various power structures throughout history have recognized that an awakened population understanding their true creative potential would be ungovernable by external authority, leading to systematic suppression of these truths through ridicule, marginalization, or outright persecution. The educational systems designed to prepare us for functioning in society rarely if ever address the fundamental nature of consciousness or teach practical methods for harnessing our innate creative capacities. Instead, we are conditioned to view ourselves as biological machines, our consciousness as nothing more than electrical activity in the brain, our destiny as largely predetermined by genetics, environment, and social circumstances. This limited paradigm serves to maintain the status quo, keeping humanity operating far below its true potential. Transcending these artificial limitations begins with understanding the first principle of the hidden code, that consciousness precedes and shapes physical reality, not the other way around. Every great achievement in human history began as a thought, an internal image that preceded its external manifestation. Nothing appears in our physical experience that has not first existed in consciousness, whether as deliberate intention or unconscious expectation. Our external circumstances mirror our internal state with such precision that they can be viewed as feedback mechanisms, showing us the exact vibrational frequency we're emitting into the field of possibilities. Most people experience this process unconsciously, unaware that their habitual thoughts and deeply held beliefs are continuously shaping their experience of reality. When we operate on autopilot, we tend to recreate familiar patterns even when they cause suffering, simply because they align with our subconscious programming. Penetrating deeper into this mystery reveals a second principle, that emotional energy acts as the activating force that powers the manifestation process. Thoughts combined with strong emotion become energized, accelerating their translation from the non-physical realm of potential into physical expression. This explains why intense emotional experiences often precede significant shifts in our external reality, whether positive or negative. Fear, anxiety, and worry are not merely unpleasant psychological states, but powerful creative forces that magnetize corresponding experiences into our lives. Conversely, emotions like gratitude, appreciation, and joy attract experiences that mirror these frequencies. The ancient wisdom traditions understood this dynamic intimately, developing sophisticated practices for emotional mastery long before modern psychology emerged. Ritual, Prayer, meditation, and various forms of sacred movement were all designed, at least in part, as technologies for aligning emotional states with desired outcomes. Breaking free from limiting patterns requires understanding a third principle, that repetition and consistency imprint new frequencies into the field, gradually reshaping our experience as new resonance patterns become established. The subconscious mind, which governs approximately 95% of our thoughts and behaviors, operates much like a sophisticated computer program running in the background of our awareness. Programming this powerful system requires repetition, for the neural pathways that support specific thought patterns become strengthened through consistent activation. This explains why genuine transformation rarely happens overnight but instead follows a process of persistent recalibration. Many seekers abandon their efforts prematurely, not realizing that they were on the verge of breakthrough. The law of gestation applies as much to consciousness as it does to physical birth. Every manifestation has its natural development cycle that cannot be rushed but can be supported through consistent alignment. Delving further into this hidden architecture, we encounter a fourth principle, that physical action aligned with higher consciousness creates pathways for manifestation, bridging the non-physical and physical dimensions of creation. Action serves as both demonstration and invitation, showing the universe the sincerity of our intentions while creating openings for synchronicity and opportunity. Without aligned action, our desires remain trapped in the realm of fantasy, disconnected from the material world where they seek expression. Yet action alone, without the proper internal alignment, often leads to frustrated efforts and diminishing returns. The integration of being and doing, of internal state and external behavior, creates a powerful coherence that accelerates manifestation. This explains why some individuals seem to accomplish with ease what others struggle to achieve through force of will alone. Their actions flow from alignment rather than resistance, harmony rather than discord. Perhaps the most challenging aspect of this code to grasp is the fifth principle, that time as we perceive it is largely a construct of consciousness, more fluid and malleable than our linear models suggest. While we experience events in sequential progression, from a higher dimensional perspective, all possibilities exist simultaneously in a vast field of potential. What we call the future is not a fixed destination but a probability spectrum that shifts in response to our consciousness in the present moment. This understanding transforms our relationship with goals and desires, shifting from desperate striving to attain something in a distant future to aligning with chosen possibilities that already exist in the eternal now. Ancient mystical traditions describe this as calling those things which are not as though they were, recognizing that in a deeper reality, all possibilities already exist in completed form. Accessing these possibilities requires shifting our consciousness to resonate with their frequency, bringing them into our experience through alignment rather than effort. Navigating this multidimensional reality requires developing a sixth principle, that intuition serves as our internal guidance system, connecting our individual consciousness with the broader intelligence of the universe. Unlike the analytical mind, which processes information sequentially based on past experience, intuition receives holistic impressions from beyond the limitations of personal knowledge. This explains the phenomenon of breakthrough insights that seem to arrive fully formed from nowhere, solutions that present themselves in dreams, and the uncanny knowing that guides us toward or away from certain paths without logical explanation. Throughout history, the greatest scientific discoveries, artistic creations, and spiritual revelations have come through intuitive channels rather than purely rational processes. Einstein, Tesla, Mozart, Blake all attributed their greatest works to reception rather than creation, tapping into streams of information beyond ordinary consciousness. Developing this intuitive capacity requires quieting the analytical mind long enough to receive the subtle impressions that are constantly available but often drowned out by mental noise. Resistance to these principles often stems from deeply entrenched beliefs about the nature of reality, perhaps none more limiting than the assumption that we exist as isolated entities in a mechanistic universe. The seventh principle addresses this fundamental misconception, that separation is an illusion created by limited perception, while interconnection represents the deeper truth of existence. Modern physics has demonstrated conclusively that at the quantum level, particles that appear separate remain connected regardless of distance, influencing each other instantaneously in ways that transcend our conventional understanding of space and time. This phenomenon of quantum entanglement provides a scientific framework for understanding what mystics have called the oneness of all things. From this perspective, we never create alone but participate in a vast collaborative process, our individual consciousness interacting with countless others within the unified field. This explains why our intentions sometimes manifest through unexpected channels, arriving through synchronicities and coincidences that defy statistical probability. Applying these principles in daily life reveals an eighth aspect of the code, that contrast and challenge serve as evolutionary catalysts, creating the friction necessary for growth and expanded awareness. When viewed through conventional perception, obstacles appear as unfortunate barriers to be eliminated or avoided. Yet from a higher perspective, these very challenges create the conditions for our greatest development, much as resistance in physical training strengthens muscle. Every difficulty presents a choice point, an opportunity to respond from either limited conditioning or expanded consciousness. Those who have mastered the hidden code understand that challenges often contain disguised opportunities, problems contain embedded solutions, and breakdowns frequently precede breakthroughs. This perspective transforms our relationship with adversity from victim consciousness to creative engagement, recognizing that contrast clarifies desire and adversity builds capacity for greater manifestation. Penetrating to even deeper levels of understanding, we encounter a ninth principle, that the universe operates through a fundamental balance of giving and receiving, a continuous exchange of energy that maintains the integrity of the whole system. This principle manifests throughout nature in countless forms: inhalation and exhalation, contraction and expansion, the turning of seasons, the cycles of growth and rest. When we align with this natural rhythm, our manifestations flow with remarkable ease and synchronicity. Blockages in this exchange, whether through excessive attachment to outcomes or reluctance to receive, create stagnation in the creative process. Many well-intentioned seekers focus intensely on their desires without cultivating equal capacity to receive, creating an energetic imbalance that impedes manifestation. Others give continuously without allowing themselves to receive, eventually depleting their resources and restricting their creative potential. Balance in this exchange creates a sustainable flow that supports ongoing creation and evolution. The 10th and perhaps most profound aspect of the hidden code relates to purpose, that each individualized expression of consciousness carries a unique creative signature, a distinctive contribution to the evolution of the whole. Unlike standardized products manufactured to identical specifications, human beings embody singular combinations of talents, perspectives, and potentials that have never existed before and will never be duplicated. This uniqueness is not random but purposeful, representing a specific frequency that adds an essential note to the cosmic symphony. When we align with this inherent purpose, we experience flow, fulfillment, and expanded creative capacity. Attempting to imitate others or conform to external expectations creates internal discord that blocks our natural creative expression. The most powerful manifestations occur when we align with our authentic essence rather than pursuing goals derived from social conditioning or comparison with others. Beyond these 10 principles lies perhaps the most carefully guarded secret of all, that consciousness itself is not confined to the physical brain but extends infinitely beyond the boundaries we have accepted as the limits of self. The materialist paradigm that has dominated Western science insists that consciousness emerges from neurological processes, a position that conveniently places the mysterious phenomenon of awareness safely within the realm of physical causation. Yet an expanding body of evidence from near-death experiences, verified remote viewing, quantum physics, and consciousness research suggests the opposite, that consciousness is fundamental rather than derivative, existing prior to and independent of physical forms while simultaneously expressing through them. This understanding revolutionizes our sense of identity, expanding it beyond the temporary configuration of body and personality to encompass the eternal field of awareness from which all manifestation arises. Integrating these principles into practical application requires systematic development of capacities that most educational systems ignore: the ability to direct attention with precision, to generate and sustain specific emotional frequencies, to receive intuitive guidance, to align beliefs with desired experiences, and to maintain coherence between thought, feeling, and action. These skills, once mastered by mystery schools and esoteric orders, represent the practical technology for applying the hidden code that shapes reality. Despite deliberate obscuration of these teachings, they have persisted through various lineages and traditions, preserved by those who recognize their transformative potential. Now, as humanity faces unprecedented challenges that cannot be resolved through the same consciousness that created them, these ancient principles re-emerge with renewed relevance, offering pathways to solutions beyond the limitations of conventional thinking. Ultimately, the hidden code that shapes destiny reveals itself not as an external system to be manipulated, but as the intrinsic nature of consciousness itself, infinitely creative, inherently intelligent, and fundamentally benevolent. The greatest secret is that there is no secret, only the veil of conditioning that has obscured our recognition of what we truly are, individualized expressions of the same consciousness that orchestrates the cosmos with impeccable precision. When we align with this understanding, we step into our rightful role as conscious creators, no longer subject to circumstances, but empowered to shape them from the inside out. The destiny that unfolds through this alignment emerges not from predetermined scripts, but from the limitless potential of awareness exploring its own nature through the unique vehicle of our individual expression. In this recognition lies both profound responsibility and unlimited freedom, the responsibility to direct our creative power consciously and the freedom to participate in shaping a reality that reflects the highest possibilities we can envision.